Hey. Hello? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you? I can't hear you. Are you muted?
Hello there.
Hi, good morning.
Your name is Carter Booth on the screen.
Oh, that's good. I can actually change that. Let me do that. Thanks for pointing that out. Rename.
And it looks like your little drawing in the back on the wall, which is very nice, by the way. Looks a little askew. Is that just the angle, or is it a little crooked?
No, the one you're looking at is actually perfectly aligned, but there is one next to it that is askew. Not sure. Yeah. It's my house. It's my apartment. My apartment's askew.
It's funny when how much these videos pick up. When you had your hand in front of the camera, I could see like a little scab on a little tiny miniature cut.
I'm a nail biter. Oh. Well, I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be right back. All right.
It's too much information.
All right.
Hello, Peter. How are you? Is Peter muted? How are we doing this again? Is everyone going to be muted until they have to speak, or what's the deal?
He should be able to unmute himself, though.
Okay.
I think. You know what? I'm going to make you a co-host just because I can.
Hi, Claudia. All right. Let's see.
Right back.
Josh, how do we find out? We have one person who is participating by phone. The number ends in 280. Can we unmute that person to find out who it is? Oh, it's telephone number 280. Who are you?
What's the number?
It ends in 280.
Yeah, that's Chief Hansen from the fire department.
Oh, okay. Hi, Chief.
How are you?
Good to see you.
I don't think you can see me.
Right, that's right. That's right. I'm imagining what you look like. You always sit next to me.
Oh, okay.
And Chief, I don't know if you got a chance to look at the agenda, but you're going to be up first once we get past the preliminaries.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Hi, Sophia. Oh, that's not, wait, that's not Sophia, is it? Oh.
Hey, it's Bob Gormley on here. It's Captain Winston from FDNY.
Hello, Captain. Good to hear your voice.
Hello, fine.
Is that
Thank
is that you? The phone
good
number?
to hear yours too.
What's that?
It's good to hear yours as well.
Okay. Hey, Charlie.
I can't go on Zoom because of our agency has a restriction on it, just like PD apparently.
Oh, I didn't know that's why you guys were calling in. If I'd known that, I would have invited the police department to participate. But I'm going to be calling them individually later on.
Okay. Did you get my email last month with your statistics and trend
Yeah, I believe we did. Thank you.
as an attachment? Okay, good.
Okay.
Hi, folks.
Who's that with the mountains in the background? Is that John Leo?
That's me. How are you?
Good. Good to see you. Good to see you back. CAU's with us. Okay.
Hey, good morning. This is Detective Rudolph.
Hey, Jim.
Hey,
Oh, how are you?
good morning, Bob. Good morning, Jim.
How are you there, my friend?
Yeah, glad to see your faces.
I will start in just a minute or two.
Okay.
How's everybody doing?
Hello, Wellington.
Hello there. Are you okay?
Yes.
Yeah, how are you?
Okay.
Wow, everybody's showing their faces, unlike me.
Yeah. Why are you
You're
hiding?
not seeing my face either. I don't have that feature on my phone here.
Jim, Rudolph, which phone? Jim, which phone number are you?
929 something. Hold on,
Okay,
tell you that.
got it. All right, all right.
Good morning, Miriam Benjamin is here from DDC.
Hi, Miriam.
Hi.
Who's got phone number 646? Hi, Jacob. Okay. I'm sorry. Who's got phone number 646? Ends in 541. We figure that one out? All right. All right, we'll start at 10:05.
Bob, you got my 929, right? 354?
Yes.
Good. How about you?
Yes, thank you. Andrew from CAU, thank you for joining us. I don't know if you had a chance to look at our agenda. I'm going to slot you in right after the Hudson Park Library.
Whenever you can, whatever is convenient for you. It is your meeting, Bob. I am at your disposal. Thank you so much for having me.
You did a great job yesterday, I got to say.
Oh, we wouldn't be able to do it without your help, so thank you.
Well, this is the first meeting that I'm actually chairing virtually, but Josh is kind of at the controls, but I'm still a little bit nervous about it. So, all right, I'm sure people will be joining us as we move along, but let's get started. First of all, thank you all for participating and for joining us. First order of business is to adopt the March minutes. I hope you had a chance to take a look at them. Can I get a motion to adopt?
Motion to adopt.
A second?
Second.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you. So basically, what we're going to do is agency reports. If your agencies, in particular, obviously, we're all going through a pretty rough time with the coronavirus pandemic. So we definitely want to hear what your agencies are doing with regard to that, if anything. But don't leave out other things. That your agency has other mandates that have to be carried out. So please give a fuller report than just the 9/11, rather than the than the pandemic stuff, if you can. Having said that, there is an order. There's an agenda that I sent out yesterday, and we're going to start with Chief Hansen from the fire department.
Yeah, hi, Bob. We don't really have a lot to report. Maybe Captain Winston can give more from headquarters point of view. But from the 2nd Battalion, actually things in Community Board 2 have been quite slow since the pandemic has started. Our runs are quite down. We only had 17 and 19 structural fires in the month of March and April. Emergencies are quite down. Only went to 223 in March and 100 in April. Medical responses also quite down, even though CPR was up. One's 117 and 106. And total incidents for March was 241, April 385, or I think I had that reversed, actually. As far as outside activities, we haven't been doing too much other than hydrant inspections. Our building inspections have been put on hold. However, since Tuesday, we have gone back to our normal chart. So we are working our normal hours now. Other than that, as far as our manpower is concerned, from the fire side, we've had, in the beginning of April, we had almost 1,400 members with symptoms. That is down to 536 as of the 12th, I believe. But other than that, although we've had many guys go out with symptoms, we've had no deaths on the fire side. We've had 4 EMTs and 7 civilians. I don't have anything else. Maybe we can go to Captain Winston, see if he has anything more.
All right. Thank you very much, Chief. Captain?
Yes. Greetings. Good morning, everybody. Good to hear your voice again. As we slowly return to some kind of normalcy. I did break down your statistics for CB2 for April, for the month over month and year to date. Your Total fires for April in CB2 were down by 35%. Year to date, your fires are down by 13%. Your fire department operations for the Bureau of Fire were down 68% for the month of April, year over year, and down by 34% year to date as of April 30th, year over year. Of course, the real story, the real narrative in the past couple of months has been our EMS and our medical responses by engine companies. We don't break out the EMS activity in the same fashion that we do the fire companies. But like the chief said, especially our engines, CFRD engines, have been carrying the load, and as well as our Bureau of EMS. I do have numbers for those if you like. I can break those out, but they're different, and they're not by board. So that's for a different cover. I will say that the fire department has increased its profile. We got numerous assistance in terms of staffing for our buses, EMS ambulances, and additional ambulances from FEMA. And within the organization, we repurpose some vehicles to what we call rapid response vehicles, who also provide medical attention. Most of that stuff has been stepped down now and is being phased down as we go down the other side of the mountain. A community affairs unit, I'm glad to say, if there's anybody here who has contact with DOE, Department of Education, we're continuing throughout this crisis to produce content, fire prevention videos that can be used for remote learning, age appropriate for primary school, middle school, and high school. So the struggle for us is getting that content, getting the links to the teachers, to the educators. So if there's anybody who can help me in that effort and liaise that information to the educators, we deeply appreciate it. We have content, but it's difficult. We find it difficult to reach the educators being on lockdown. So that's how you guys, maybe perhaps somebody can help us get these resources to the teachers.
Captain, let's talk offline about that. We might be able to help you out on that.
Okay, Bob.
Okay.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Next up, Jennifer Leung, DOT.
Hi, good morning. Jennifer Leung, DOT Manawatu Commissioner's Office. Currently, we are reviewing applications for our Open Street Initiative. It's on a rolling basis. Due to the nature of the informal and temporary nature of these open streets, we are implementing these fairly quickly. However, if they don't work, changes can be made easily. And if that's something that anyone is getting complaints about, or that's something that you should definitely send them over to me. With the approved streets, most of them are actually will be announced beforehand, and they will also be posted on our website. In addition to open streets, I will say that our DOT operations, it was reduced, but now we're actually picking it up. So our resurfacing is gonna continue, and they actually started milling this week. Their schedules are not what it was before. I mean, I think maybe a while ago when we were still, meeting in person, I probably did mention that. At that point, nothing has begun, and it's not until now that they are starting to do this again. So I would say that even though the schedule is not going to be what they originally think the street's going to be milled, they are currently being revised, and they are subject to change. All these streets that will be milled and repaved, they will be actually posted on our website, so definitely check the website weekly. Currently, I think this week, Bowery between Canal and Cooper Square, East 4th is being milled. And that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Jen.
Hey, Bob, Chief Hansen, I just have one question for Jennifer.
Okay.
Jennifer, did you happen to get my email the other day?
Yes, I did. I actually responded to you, and
okay,
I'm
very good.
going to follow up, okay?
Okay, very good. I haven't been in since, so I'll take a look at it. I'll get back to you. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sanitation, Superintendent Quinn.
Good morning, Superintendent Peter Quinn, Manhattan 2. Few things that are new. One, regular collection and recycling service. We've been able to maintain our regular service schedule with a little moving around, extra trucks midnight, but we have been day on day throughout the pandemic. But with that, there are a few changes. Residential organics program, the brown bins that you may see on occasion, that program has been suspended due to citywide budgetary concerns. And as of now, will be suspended for the rest of this fiscal year and through the next one, which would be June 30th, 21. So anyone who puts out a bin, it'll be served as regular refuse. And the recommendation is that you wash them out and store them till the program comes back. Even though it'll be a while. I know storage is an issue, but that is the directive that's been handed down. Also due to budgetary concerns, the district had been getting 3 extra services on the 4 to 12 shift, supplemental basket service. That has been eliminated as of May 2nd. So the supplemental service is eliminated until further notice or until the funding levels are changed. So everybody's aware, if you haven't heard through the mayor's office, that alternate side has been suspended. It will be back in effect next week, Monday through Saturday for 1 week to enable us to clean the streets. So it'll be regular ASPs will be in effect next week. So you can help get the word out, because I know a lot of people are going to be hard to get the people move their cars when they're being told on one hand not to leave their house, and now they're being told they need to move their cars. So we'll do the best we can with that. Also, to do the homeless outreach and cleanup with a special focus on the encampments that you see around, including people setting up like in front of closed stores that have scaffolding. They're putting up cardboard and making enclosures. We've been, with help of the police and DHS, we've been trying to do as much as that as we can. But as I'm sure you've noticed, anyone who's been out, that's an ongoing issue. But like I said, we still put everything in 311 as is scheduled. We do the cleanups the best we can. Also, the safe open streets, according to my records, we've been given in Manhattan 2 5 locations as of now for the safe open streets program. The locations I have was 1 Morton Street from 7th Avenue south to Bleecker. Second location, Jones Street from Bleecker to West 4th. Gansevoort from West 13th to 9th Avenue. Little West 12 from 9 to Washington. And West 13 from 9 to Washington. I don't think it add or subtract, but those are the locations I have that we've been keeping an eye on. And I think that's all I have for now. Well, the one I wanted to add up was cleaning scores. Obviously, due to the pandemic, I believe the office, it's a civilian office that does that, that's independent from us. I don't think they've been operating, so I don't have any updates from the last time I gave you cleaning scores.
Okay. I have a couple of questions. First, though, with regards to the open streets, Jennifer Leon, I was only aware of a couple of streets in the meatpacking district. Are those other streets that the superintendent mentioned also going to be closed?
That's something I would have to check on. I actually haven't gotten a updated list yet, so let me check on that and I'll get back to you.
Okay, Evan Sweet from the meatpacking district is here.
Okay.
For clarity on that, currently we have Little 12th and 13th between 9th and Washington closed. That came into effect this morning at 8 a.m. My understanding was Gansevoort was not yet approved through DOT due to some issues downtown. If anyone has clarity on that, we would love to get those open, but obviously need to hear back from the city on that.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list right now, and the only ones as of now that are in CB2 are the West 12th and West 13th Street, but I do see that there are a couple in consideration in Greenwich Village for the next round of streets. And once more information about that is made available, we'll follow up with everyone.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Any other questions about the open streets?
Yeah, Bob, it's Corey from Hudson Square Bid. I just wanted to get on the record that we have three applications that are in DOT that we've been working to figure out the specifics of the time. But we put in 3 applications last week that we're hoping to move forward on pretty quickly.
Okay, thanks, Corey. Superintendent, a couple of questions. First, when you mentioned the suspension of the residential organics program, is that just Manhattan or is that going to be citywide, if you know?
That is citywide.
Interesting. And that's effective immediately, or?
The program has already been ended. It also ended, that was May 1st was the last collection. When and if the schools open up, the schools will still be doing the organics program, but residences are suspended through next fiscal year at this time.
Interesting. Was there notifications given? Because in my building in Brooklyn, I don't think we were given any notice. And in fact, I think they did actually pick up the organics on Monday.
Well, they picked it up, but it was picked up by the regular refuse collection trucks. There are no residential organics trucks anymore.
All right.
They are
Thank
done.
you. And once we the suspension of alternate side parking, so that the sweepers will be as to facilitate the sweeping, right? Is that what's?
Yeah. So we've had 4 brooms out there every day, basically doing the meters and whatever open. But next week, the regular alternate side parking rules will be in effect for the 1 week. So whatever those signs are posted, whether it's Monday, Thursday, Tuesday, Friday, those regulations will be enforced next week. And then, as per the mayor, he's going to suspend them again until something changes.
Okay. Thank you, Peter.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for sanitation? Okay. I don't see them, but is anyone from Parks here? Jamal or Dorothy?
Yeah, I'm here, Jamal.
Oh, Jamal, I didn't see you. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. All right. So, Parks Department, well, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, Parks has removed the basketball rims, volleyball nets, tennis court nets, and we have changed the side goal posts. And also, all playgrounds have been closed to the public until further notice. And this summer, all public pools, such as Vesuvio, Tony Dappolito, they will be closed. So right now, all large parks, such as Washington Square and all sitting areas, such as Forward Fagan and Forward Demo, they're still open to the public. Right now, the plumbers, they're going around, they're turning on the water to the irrigation systems for the parks and also the drinking fountains. But for right now, the display fountains, they haven't made a decision on when we're going to turn those on yet. So right now, the agency, they're providing each field staff member with their own PPE equipment while they're on duty. So this includes gloves, masks, and hand sanitizer for each employee that's outside working. And the agency, they will continue through the pandemic to provide staff with additional face masks weekly. And that's all I have for Parks.
All right, thank you, Jamal. I have a couple of questions. Any action taking on that complaint about the drumming in the park? You know?
Yeah, she said that she was going to investigate it that same day that we spoke through the email chain, but she didn't get back to me. So what I'll do today is I'll get back to her to see, what's going on. So I'll get you an answer to give to the constituent.
Okay, I appreciate that because I had gotten several calls about it, and then I haven't gotten a call in over a week. So I don't know if the drumming had stopped, or sometimes people just give up if they're not making any headway. Also, just to let you know, we've been around this block a few times over the past year or so, but I continue to get complaints about skateboarding in the park, particularly in Garibaldi Plaza. So
yeah, that's the issue. I mean, we put out the signs, and through the pandemic, it's kind of got a little hard with PEP because so many people calling out, so sometimes it becomes like a struggle because sometimes some days it's only one of them on duty.
Right. I understand.
Yeah, hopefully I talked to the sergeant about that too. Maybe they can do a joint effort with PD or something. I'm not really sure, but I'll talk to them about that.
All right, appreciate that. Thank you, Jamal.
Okay. All right,
anyone
you're welcome,
on? Okay. Is there any other questions for Parks? Monica?
Hi, good morning, everyone. It was great to see everyone actually on Zoom. This is for Jamal for Parks. The constituent that you're talking about, she also had our office, and I have been in touch with the 6th precinct because it's actually on their, sector, and they try to be there as much as they can. They have very little manpower at this moment, but I spoke to her and I asked her to give me a particular time of when they're actually coming, and the tour guy is there. And she says it's basically almost every day, all the time. So she could hear it from her apartment. And then I also have other, like Bob said, other constituents calling our office because of the issue. So it's like a everyday situation, and it's like a little bit tired because I know Park is closed, but not Washington Square Park is open to the public. They don't have a gate. But if
Yeah,
there's
that's cool.
any way we could put like a temporarily gate in the area or something that, like stop them from being there at the meantime until we go back to our new norm of life.
I have to look into that.
I don't think a gate would do it, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Gates are a whole nother issue anyway in the park. But I mean, it's not just Garibaldi. That they do it skateboard in the fountain.
Correct.
And it's been going on for a long time. It seems to be kind of an intractable problem from the way things have been, from the lack of any resolution. I hate to say this, but I think it might finally get addressed in an effective way when the fountain gets broken because of skateboarders, and then the city has to pay $1 million to fix it. Then it'll get someone's attention maybe. But in the meantime, the complaints come in, and it's there doesn't seem to be the resolve to kind of address it effectively. Is there anyone on from OEM? Okay, Alberto, I saw you. DCA, or this is going to Department of Consumer and Worker Protection. That's going to take me a while to get that one down.
Yeah, same here. So don't feel bad. Good morning, everyone. I have a couple updates from the agency. The first one's about the sidewalk cafe licenses, as you and I discussed earlier in the week. The renewal dates have been extended. So if your license expired February 28th, or in this case, sidewalk cafe April 15th, the new expiration date is June 30th, and the renewal date is August 28th. In addition to that, if you paid any consent fees, those will be refunded. And if you're applying for a renewal, those consent fees will be waived. So those are two things that the agency is doing to make life a little easier for small businesses at this time. The other thing is, in terms of our financial counseling and free tax prep, we have moved those services to remote services over the phone. Those are free, as you already know. You can access that at nyc.gov/talkmoney. And those are active services at this moment, and we're adding new providers on a daily basis. And lastly, for our workers, paid sick leave and other workplace laws that DCA enforces are still in effect, regardless of COVID or not. Of note, I think this might be big for your district, Bob. We've had 172 freelancer complaints since February as a whole, and we've recovered $50,000 to date for those workers. So that's all we have here at DCA.
All right. Thank you, Alberto. One quick question. You may not, this might be premature, so you wouldn't have an answer anyway, but with regard to sidewalk cafe fees, has there been any discussion yet, once we're in the post-pandemic era, of maybe continuing to waive the fees or reducing them just to help the businesses succeed?
Right. So we haven't gotten to that point yet, but we are kicking around ideas of what we may want to see going forward. So I think it'll be a multi-agency, potentially have a lot of actors in the process. Because as you know, sidewalk cafes, a lot of actors to pass that license and all that. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for DCA? All right, DOB, is Stephen on? All right, Jermaine, I saw you, HRA, Jermaine?
Hey, you see me? Good morning, everyone. And of course, we all wish it was as better conditions, but hey, we as New Yorkers, you see how we make things happen still. So just, I'm gonna start off first with some of the changes we made with the agency since this pretty much started. Hold on. switch up headsets real quick. Hello? Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. So the first thing we did was that we asked for some waivers to make it easier for our constituents to apply for services online. So that was one of the really big things we did, which is cash assistance. So now individuals applying for cash can actually apply for cash assistance instead of going into our offices. And with this done, it helped alleviate us having a lot of centers open, and we pretty much reduced the numbers down to one center in each borough. And hopefully it'll be, the word is still getting passed. Please go online. Don't come in unless it's like really, really necessary. We still work with community partners to help people enroll into certain services. We actually working on even getting waivers for people to be able to be an authorized rep for an individual who can't actually fill out an application, like for seniors who are not computer savvy or don't feel comfortable using the computer. These are all the things we're working on to make our services more streamlined going forward. So in light of that, the one thing we actually are giving people information on is that the pandemic EBT. This is pretty much an EBT card that's going to be issued through the state, and the main focus is for families who have children who are eligible for free to reduced lunches, and they're pretty much we have a feeling they're going to be working with DOE. I'm sorry, which makes more sense to get information on the individual parents. And if they have an EBT card, there'll be the benefits will be issued accordingly. And for the ones who are undocumented, these are the ones that they're gonna try to reach out to make sure they get the card so that they can get the same benefits. This benefit does not count towards a public charge, which is a thing. And they don't need to fill out an application or anything. They will be notified accordingly and they get the information from hopefully DOE. Our commissioner continue to have a citywide conference every Tuesday, and this is pretty much open to our community partners, elected officials, community boards, so they can get an idea of the changes that the agency is doing as a whole, because we do know as changes continue to progress that we're going to be almost like the center for people to come to get a financial assistance, whether it be for rent arrears, SNAP, medical, they're pretty much going to be reaching out to us. And lastly, we also, so with SNAP, which I want to make sure reiterate real clearly, is that there's no interview process for it. So once individuals go to Access HRA and apply for SNAP benefits, they do not have to worry about somebody calling them or them calling us. The system might be a lapse in the system where people may get a notification saying, "Hey, you need to be process," but even on our website it's saying, "Please ignore that. Don't worry about it." The one thing we want to make sure that people are focused on is that their identity could be proven, so security number, residency, as well as gross income and alien status. Once that's done, they don't have to worry about it. If something cannot be proven, at that time we will try our best to reach out to them. Hopefully they have a number to let them know that we need to verify some more information. Outside of that, the case can go through, but it won't. The benefit level may not be the full amount because we couldn't verify certain information. The last thing we have is enhanced SNAP benefit. This was something that was introduced through the state, federal government, and the federal government, meaning if individuals, and the easiest way for me to explain this, if a household, meaning I'm just one person, was just saying getting $90 just because he couldn't, the income or he wasn't able to prove certain things. What they did was from April to May, they actually went back and the enhancement was raising that level to the maximum level. So that one person would now be getting $194 for the month of April and May. And it could be extended, but we're, because we're still in the middle of May and we're still working on making sure everybody get this enhancement. But until, they don't, so it's nothing they need to call on, nothing to fill out any forms on. It's something we're doing behind the scenes. It's just being patient about receiving the benefits and taking it from there. And that's it for me, Bob. I do miss the donuts, sir.
Thank you, Jermaine. Any questions for Jermaine?
I have a question, Bob.
Go ahead.
Couldn't hear me.
It's actually for Alberto. I couldn't, I was on mute, so I didn't realize.
Okay.
It was my fault. The city council passed a law yesterday that will waive the cafe fees through February 28th of 2021. And I'm not sure that's what Alberto said. I missed some of it. So there's a new law.
Yeah, no, that seems to go beyond what Alberto said, so that's good. Very good. That's what, in fact, that was kind of what I was asking him. Thank you, Pat. Leilani, Homeless Services.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi. It's great to see all of your faces. So lots of moving parts and a lot is happening. So I will try my best to be clear and concise and straight to the point. Of course, all of our intake centers are still open for operation. So anyone in need of emergency shelter can still come through our 4 points of entry. Families with children, single adult males and women, and adult families. So at any time, folks can still come into our system. If they're in need of emergency shelter, we don't see a significant increase in our census across the system, which a lot of folks have asked me, a lot of elected officials and community boards have asked me if we've seen an increase in our census in light of COVID-19. We have not. We've seen a decrease in families with children coming into the system, and we've seen a slight increase for single adult males coming into the system. And our assessment workers were able to assess that likely it was more challenging for the single adult males to find temporary shelter, or in light of social distancing, folks did not want them to stay in their homes, and so they had to come into shelter. At this moment in time, we're tracking 920 positive cases. Of that number, 770 cases are sheltered, 46 are unsheltered, so that's our street homeless population of COVID-19 cases that we're tracking. We've made 104 agency referrals, and unfortunately, we've had 75 deaths. And so the goal of the agency is to reduce these numbers of positive cases as it relates to shelter. And so as a plan, the commissioners created a density reduction plan. So all of our single adult shelters were cutting the population in half. So in order to do that, we had to enter into commercial hotels temporarily. And so we're moving folks out of shelter and temporarily housing individuals, single adults in commercial hotels across the city of New York. So that is one of the major focuses right now. We're really focusing on that density reduction plan. First, we started with seniors, anyone who was 70 years old and up. We started with seniors first, and then we moved on to the general population. As it relates to street outreach, which I think you all would be more interested in knowing what we're doing for that population, I've received some flags about slight upticks in this community district as it relates to street homelessness. Our street outreach teams are doing surveys with every street homeless individual they're encountering. So we've had over 23,000 engagements across the city of New York with our street outreach teams. And what they're doing is they're just basically assessing their health and running through a checklist of, checking to see if perhaps individuals are presenting COVID-19 symptoms or any other symptoms. And if they are, we're immediately connecting them to care. We're not really getting feedback from the teams that folks are being resistant. And in fact, it's the opposite. Folks are being responsive on the street when we want to connect them to care, which is a great thing. We're also providing them with PPE. So we're giving them masks, gloves, and hand sanitizers as well. We've expanded the number of safe haven beds. So we have at this moment in time more than enough beds to accommodate our street homeless population. And we're seeing them be responsive, so that's a good thing. There's a lot more to report, but as it relates to your community district, I think that's what's the most imperative information I can share. But the commissioner has a weekly call every Tuesday, and I would encourage everyone to participate on those calls because you'll get a real live, real-time update on all the moving parts and everything that we're doing as an agency, including subway outreach, which I've been getting a lot of questions about. You know, we've increased the number of individuals who accepted services with our proactive outreach with NYPD Underground in the subways. And so just as I always message, 311 is still a tool for everybody to utilize. If in the event you see someone who may be street homeless, now more than ever, please reach out to 311 so that we can ensure that we're reaching out to our most vulnerable New Yorkers and throwing all the supports we can their way. That's all
Thank you,
I have.
Leilani. Just one question regarding the outreach on the subways. Is that happening just, you know, at 1 a.m. when the subways are shutting down, or does it happen throughout the day?
Throughout the day, but it's just like street outreach. We night and day looks very different, and at the end of the night, that's where the teams can really, I guess I would say, get the most traction and the most engagements because they are able to engage individuals who ride end of line subways, so that those are the train carts where we are able to identify more street homeless individuals who ride those end of lines. And we saw the numbers increase in doing outreach at night. And so we're doing it throughout the day, always have been doing it throughout the day. But there's more hands on deck, so to say, for outreach around late night hours.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yes, thank you, Leilani. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay, any questions for Leilani? DEP, Umberto, are you on? I didn't see him. How about Manhattan District Attorney? Okay. Hudson Park Library. Miranda.
So all NYPL locations are obviously temporarily closed to the public until further notice. The library will continue to work closely with the city and carefully monitor the situation to determine when locations can reopen. All late fees will be suspended during the closure period. Due dates for checked out physical materials will be extended until after we reopen. All branches will be sanitized before they reopen and will be following all recommendations from the CDC and the Department of Health. In the meantime, we are focused on expanding our remote resources for patrons. So patrons can still get library cards using the Simply e-app and gain access to books and other e-resources. Hudson Park staff is focused on providing remote programming. So our children's librarians have provided virtual story time and are working closely with local schools to support them. We're also hosting virtual book clubs for adults and English language learners, and we are hoping to continue to expand our virtual offerings while we wait for the world to reopen.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you, Miranda. Any questions from Miranda? All right. Next up is Mayor's Community Affairs Unit, Andrew.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for having me this morning, and thank you all for all the hard work you're doing. The city is incredibly grateful for it, so thank you. These are just general updates that I think can apply to all the agencies and families and whatnot. So we just want to remind everybody that registered New York City voters can request an absentee ballot for the June 23rd election. We are encouraging registered voters to do so by June 16th. I'll provide that information in the chat box shortly. For information on how to obtain the necessary medical documentation for paid sick leave, the city has set up a call center to facilitate, and I'll provide that phone number in the chat box as well. The health insurance special enrollment period has been extended through June 15th for all uninsured New Yorkers. And City Bike is offering a free year membership for first responders and essential workers. And lastly, we are citywide looking for volunteers to go out this weekend and walk around and help educate social distancing and hand out masks to those in need. And these social distance ambassadors would not be reporting to City Hall or NYPD. This would merely be to distribute the masks and make sure that communities are educated and engaged on the practice of social distancing. And I'm going to include all these links in the chat right now. If anybody has any questions, please do not hesitate.
Thank you, Andrew. Any
Thank
questions,
you.
Franklin? Okay. Now, the man of the hour, the man who set up this very structured agenda, John Leo from Con Edison.
Hi, folks. Just a quick appearance, and I have to cover myself up. Hope everybody's doing well. Con Edison is continuing our operations, but we are suspending the meter readings for everyone. So we're also suspending all our turnoffs. So if you receive or your constituents receive a turnoff notice, disregard, because we are not turning anybody off at this time. And we are not doing any meter readings unless it's absolutely necessary, and we have no other necessary precautions to do so. And we are not collecting any late fees or fees for using debit cards or credit cards to pay your bills. So, but definitely at this time, there's still people out there trying to take advantage of everyone. So be careful not to listen to any folks telling them that they will shut off their servers, or they need to pay, or they need to have meter read, because that might not be true. So for our 1-875 contact number to verify any information pertaining to candidates and visits or services people are saying they are providing to you. Another thing is we are still continuing to support our nonprofit groups. So if you know of any nonprofits that have been receiving support from us, tell them to contact me and submit their proposal to me, or in my area, and we'll continue to support them as best that we can. Other than that, I don't know if there's any questions.
John, just one question regarding the support for nonprofits. What's the criteria again, and what sort of support or grants do you give them?
Well, we have been supporting nonprofits with our corporate contributions. If they have programs that we support throughout the year, or you can look up the eligibility requirements on our website. And if they have been receiving our support, they will be continue to receive our support. But if they have not been receiving our support, unless they are environmentally focused, they would have to sort of contact the relationship manager to send in a letter of interest before we can consider their proposals. There are some criteria we're always looking for. Is STEAM, which is science, technology, education, arts, math, and environment, sustainability.
Right. All right.
Of course, at this time, if they are receiving support from us before, we are amenable to having them pivot their program to support the current pandemic crisis.
All right. Thank you, John. Questions for Con Edison? All right. Let's move on to John Papp, Hudson River Park Trust.
Thanks, Bob. Hi, everyone. The park and the dog runs are open currently, but all closed facilities include the playgrounds, ball courts, ball fields, and whatnot. So basically anything that can be locked down is locked down except for the dog runs. We have PEP and NYPD and school safety resource officers distributing masks in the park on a regular basis. NYPD has a detail on Pier 45 and 46, usually on the weekends, because that's been a source of crowding issues for us in the park, those two piers in particular. at Christopher Street. And their main job right now is just to educate folks and ask them to adhere to the social distancing and mask guidelines that the state and city have put out in place. But it's been challenging for us just in terms of how crowded the park is. I think we'll continue to get as the park warms up. So our main job right now is just try to educate people, distribute masks. But that's where we are right now.
All right, thank you, John. Any questions for John?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Charlie from Deborah Glick's office. John, have you heard anything, or has there been any discussion? We've gotten a few emails from people asking if maybe if tennis courts would be opened at some point in time, since it's 2 people. I don't know if you.
No,
guys
sure. I don't really answer that myself, but please do email me and I can get you an answer.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. You have my email address, I'm sure.
Yes, and I can also reach out to Noreen. So
great. Yeah, definitely do reach out because I'm sure Noreen will have an answer for you. I don't know that myself though.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm just going to amend the order slightly and invite Leah Flax from New York City Transit to report.
Hi, Bob, and hi, everybody. So I think, as everyone's aware, MTA is continuing to run our essential service plan in alignment with Governor Cuomo's on pause order. So we're doing that so essential workers can continue to get where they need to go. And we're want to make sure that customers and everybody else knows that if they're not an essential worker or it's not an essential trip, to please not use this system. And for everybody who is using the system, they are required to wear a face covering, a mask or face covering. And I think folks are also aware that starting May 6th, we started the overnight closure from 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. And during that time, we're doing intensive cleaning of the stations, as well as coordinated homeless outreach.
Okay, any questions for Leah? Thank you. Next up, if she's on, I didn't see her, Jenny Drossman, downtown Goddard. Okay, Wellington, Chinatown Partnership.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is staying safe. As you know, as Mayor's press just announced again, there's been a trend toward, as John Leo knows, of anti-Asian harassment, discrimination, and hatred crimes. And unfortunately, that fits the historical pattern. Every time after a pandemic, a yellow fever, or any type of outbreak, we humans need to find somebody to blame. And unfortunately, this time around, Chinatown and Chinese American, even though they have nothing to do with Wuhan, is the brown suit tiger, and people are bashing the brown suit tiger. And so I ask everyone for support because Asians still constitute a 14% minority in the city. We need the other 86%. When you see something, please say something, because there's tremendous amount of underreporting, and we need people to be upstander rather than just bystander. That's number one. There's also training how to deal with de-escalation when we need to confront someone. There are techniques that are on the city's Human Rights Commission that you can take, and they're very effective campaigns. Rather than using the word I, use the word we, for example, just as a very effective methodology to say that there's strength in numbers. So, and also, we now have a website that lists all the open essential services since the beginning of the pandemic. Since March 16, if you go to chinatown.nyc, there's a list of open essential services. So if you need medicine, if you need grocery, if you don't want to wait in line in Trader Joe's or other places, Chinatown is open. We have over quite a bit of restaurants now beginning to open. And then speaking in support of Jennifer Leong and DOT, the safe open streets that we just saw on Community Board 3, the restaurants and also the social distancing, people are getting into altercations, fights, not wearing masks, you're cutting in front of my space, you're violating my 6-foot zone. And Chinatown also don't have enough tenement space for indoor 6-foot radius distancing. So it's very likely that it's up to the merchants that if certain streets are appropriate, that the sidewalks, for example, in front of Chinatown Ice Cream Factory, where it's a narrow bowling alley lane, and it's only a very short distance, it goes without saying that they are going to spill out into the sidewalk, and then there will be other waiting lines outside with other bubble teas. So we love the program, and as I know DOT is exploring and other communities are exploring, I think that's something that should be explored. And the other thing is obviously the sidewalk cafes. I hope DCA do not fine our merchants, because historically Chinatown do not have sidewalk cafes, so they may need to put the table out just to put the brown bags for people to do pick up deliveries, because you don't want to cut in front of somebody's 6-foot space and just say putting in line and to pick up something. And that's something that we are highly in support of. And so that's some of the programs that we're exploring, I think will be helping to give them more breathing space, more safe distancing space, as well as because the 50% capacity with the restaurants maximum, it goes without saying that if they were struggling to make it when you were at full capacity, that when you cut it down to 50%, a lot of restaurants will not exist or survive, and a lot of merchants will not exist or survive during this crisis. The losses are massive, historic, unprecedented, and so I ask everyone for support and be kind to one another, and lend as much support for the small mom and pop that's in your district, as well as in Chinatown and Little Italy. Thank you.
Thank you, Wellington. Any questions for Chinatown Partnership? Okay, next up, Hudson Square Connection, Corey or Nina?
Yeah, hi, thanks, Bob. So in Hudson Square, our maintenance team is still working shortened hours. They're on from 11 to 3, 6 days a week. We've suspended our pedestrian safety manager crossing guard program until further notice. If you go, our marketing team keeps a list of open retailers on our website, hudsonsquarebid.org. We're starting to see more places open in the last week or so. I did mention before, but we put in 3 applications for the Open Streets program at DOT, so we're hoping to have those open soon. And then the last thing I'll say is we started to think about sort of what the reopening will look like. And we've sort of pivoted away from developing sort of a streetscape plan to sort of thinking about how commerce will have to come out of the stores and into the public realm, what that means for sidewalk queuing, what it means for pedestrian flow. So our focus over the next 3 to 6 months is really going to be about developing a menu of options of what we're going to do and work with the city to sort of allow businesses to return in some capacity. So we'll share those, and we want to work with all the different agencies and other bids to share new ideas, because it's the world.
All right. Thank you, Corey. I am going to invite Detective Jim Rudolph to speak. There's I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there seems to be some static going on. Almost everyone is muted, but I'm noticing, Jim, that whenever someone speaks, you guys might know this already, your box, at least from what I'm looking at, a little yellow kind of border lights up. And while Corey was giving his report, Jim's box kept lighting up. So I'm suspecting that he may be the culprit with this background static. So Jim, if you're, what I'm going to ask is if you give your report and then to mute yourself, or we'll try to mute you, and we'll move on. Is that okay?
All right, I'm sorry, but I don't think it's me, but that's okay.
Maybe it's not. Okay.
Nice to hear everybody's voices, because my face isn't on. I know that. I just want to let you know that we're very busy in the subway, as you know, with the closures and the homeless, and actually crime is, never takes a break. It's unbelievable. We deal with we're dealing with the homeless. That's the big hot subject right now. Especially to get the train cars clean. The shutdowns. we do the best we can. You know, we've had our problems, you know, with people getting sick, and thank God everybody's, you know, on the mend, and, you know, the manpower is still a little low in District 2. But, you know, we deal with BRC, and we're looking out for the scammers, you know. Please don't let your guard down. Keep your distance. Stay safe. You just have to, you know, we have to ride this out together. You know what I mean? But do not let, you know, don't let anybody get in your personal spaces. The TA is now putting, you know, the tapes on the platforms. Like you said, they need to wear masks now when they enter the system. That's about it, Bob. Really not much else is happening.
All right. Thank you, Jim. Any questions for Detective Rudolph? All right, thanks. Well, okay, let's move back to the business improvement districts. Meatpacking bid, Kate or Evan?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'll start on kind of what we've already been talking about a little bit, the Open Streets program. I want to echo what was said from Hudson Square. We are very much looking forward to implementing this program in its kind of fullest. As of today, as we've discussed, Little West 12th and 13th between 9th and Washington have been opened, to pedestrians. We've set up those barriers and will continue to monitor the progress of that. In addition, we have 17th Street between 8th and 10th in Community Board 4 as part of our Open Streets program. We're still pushing, and we would love to see Gansevoort from West 13th all the way through to Washington opened up. We think it's a kind of critical part of the overall street network in the neighborhood and a real important access route for people to get into the neighborhood or get across to the West Side Highway from 8th Avenue. And so we would love to see that happen. Similarly to Hudson Square, we're also thinking about how this program moves forward into the future, particularly as it relates to businesses opening up and what kind of commercial activity can happen on the sidewalk and in streets, make sure that, you know, there's safety for queuing, safety for restaurant patrons, and just in general, making sure that people feel comfortable being out and engaging in activity. So that's our update right now on Open Streets. Maybe Kate has some other updates about the neighborhood as well.
Okay, thank you, Evan. Was there a question? Someone have a question? All right, I'm gonna backtrack. It appears I skipped over, I know I mentioned them, but somehow we didn't connect. DOB, Stephen Nuzzo. Stephen, are you on?
Hello?
Yes, Stephen, go ahead.
Hello? Yes,
Stephen.
hi, you can hear me. Unfortunately, I was supposed to unmute the phone by pressing *6 while also unmuting my phone. So I had to unmute myself twice. But hello, everyone. Good morning. Steve Nuzzo here from DOB. I hope everyone's safe and sound and making it through this, you know, tumultuous time. So you may understand that the Empire State Development Corporation has issued guidelines of what is considered essential and emergency construction work. We at the Department of Buildings have been vetting requests for essential or emergency construction work. Those that have been approved do receive a certificate of authorization to conduct such work with as to a particular scope of work within the request. I believe right now, you know, that's really much on the processing and application and permitting side. We are also conducting enforcement sweeps every week. We've gone out to perhaps every facet, every non-essential building, any essential building in New York City. We've issued over, or at least approximately 200 stop work orders for those violating the governor's orders. And right now we have kind of phased out every processing facet of our department within the borough office to now it being introduced online. So everything is being processed online. And I do encourage everybody to check out our COVID-19 processes and procedures on our websites if you should have any questions regarding the guidance or the guidelines that ESD has set forth for for us. And I hope everyone remains safe and sound, and hope to see you all soon.
Thank you, Stephen. Any questions for DOB? Okay, back to the bids. NoHo bid, Cordelia or Chandler?
Hi, everyone. Basically, we report the same problems we always report. Like now that the streets are emptier, the drug issue on Crosby and around there is bigger than it was. And then some homelessness. But the police, you know, we're talking to the police, and I'm sure homeless services is dealing with it, and Goddard is too. We have our clean team working, yet reduced hours also, but they are doing a lot of sanitizing surfaces, cleaning up the boxes that are left over from people sleeping. So trying to at least keep things as orderly as possible on the streets. Graffiti was up last month, but it's slowed down a little bit. So that is hopeful for our area. We heard now Lower East Side is getting attacked. And then lastly, just for what the bid's been working on, the bid works on a lot of direct business outreach. And so we're trying to communicate with our businesses as much as possible and get them as much information as we possibly can, and help in any way that we can figure out to make sure that they're getting the things that are most relevant to them, including sector specific communications and stuff like that. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Cordelia. Any questions for the NoHo bid? Okay, Soho Broadway bid, Frank? Frank Wessels? Do you need to unmute?
Hold on.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, I'm freezing up a little bit. I think we're using a ton of bandwidth over here. Good morning, everyone. So first and foremost, we've been working extremely hard and trying to keep the community safe and protected. The 1st and 5th precincts have been doing a great job under the circumstances, and considering that many police officers were out sick. In appreciation for that, we were able to work with a community partner that we have that started a group called millionlives.org. And through their organization, we were able to acquire 5,000 masks, and we donated 2,300 to the 1st and 5th precinct. We have some for our clean team members, and we're in the process of donating another 2,000 to DSNY. It's a small donation, but it helps. The command said that they go through approximately 100 masks a day. So it was nice for us in the community to get together to make this donation. As far as the corridor, we've reduced our sanitation services by approximately 75%. So we have 2 clean team members working from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week. So they're still turning the cans. The biggest thing that they are doing is we have a large uptick in graffiti. We have approximately 80% of our public assets have graffiti on them almost daily. We have 102 buildings in our district, and 29 are tagged as of today. So that's approximately 28.5% have graffiti on them. We're seeing a homeless increase around Broadway on the side streets, Mercer and Crosby. And they are erecting shelters that are permanent now. They're not, previously they were staying overnight and then packing up and leaving, but now they seem to be a fixture. So we're just cleaning around them. And if they can, the 1st and 5th precincts can provide them services, they're attempting that. We have 7 boarded up retailers on Broadway, and 2 of them have commissioned murals to be painted on the boards. So that's at Bloomingdale's and Aritzia. They look pretty nice. The other ones are painted black, so that if they get tagged, our clean team has been painting them black again so that the graffiti is removed. And other than that, that's basically what's going on in the corridor. I hope everyone else is staying safe and healthy. And hopefully we will be doing these meetings in person sometime in the near future.
Thank you, Frank. Frank, did you say that 28% of all the buildings in your area?
Yeah, about 28.5%. So I'm going to do another survey today. So what we've been doing is we're trying to work with the managers and the building owners. So we're notifying them that they have graffiti on their buildings. And then we're trying to work with them to have the graffiti removed. But obviously every building has a different type of facade. Some can be painted, some can't, some are landmarked, some aren't. It's difficult, but we're trying to stay on top of it. Our clean team has been painting the public assets daily. So we've been able to keep up with that. But the buildings just, it's just more and more each, like when I first started doing the surveys, we had 19, now we're up to 29. So, it's just, as taggers come into the neighborhood and they see that their tags aren't being painted over, they just continue. And they hit other buildings as well, so.
All right, thank you, Frank. Any questions for Frank?
Thanks for taking them, Frank, because we paint over, so they don't want to be in our neighborhood. So thanks for taking the burden.
Yes, we're doing our best. So we're going to give you the homeless soon, though. Don't worry about it.
All right, thank you. Village Alliance, Terry?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, obviously, being a bid, we have some of the same issues and pluses. I'd say on the negative side, the homeless have been much better. In the very beginning, we had homeless, we believe, from other areas, probably more commercial districts that weren't being able to receive funds from people there, so they moved into to other neighborhoods. I think also with the NoHo, the Soho bid, we do share that we are near Washington Square Park. So I think a lot of the issues have emanated around there. We definitely have our same hot spots as usual, but it has been better in the last couple of weeks. We do still have emotionally disturbed. We do have drug dealing. We have drug addicts, but it has definitely improved. One thing that has been a major issue are certain ATMs, because banks, I suppose the ATMs were on timers, so they're not locked during the day. Now, I would imagine most people have a bank card, even homeless might have I've heard food cards. There's certain things that work to get into the ATM, but that's definitely been an issue. But there's only so much can be done. We are also working on the open streets. We have put in for 2 different streets, but the majority of our bid are either on a bus route or a truck route. So we don't have that many streets at this point available, unless adjustments can be made in the future, which I think there probably will be. We also have, on our website, we have a list of all of our open businesses. We also have one area that is just for the most essential, the grocery stores and the hardware stores and things. So they're called out from that list. We are homeless. I mean, our security team has been amazing. They always call for homeless services. Our sanitation team too, we're on a little bit of a restricted schedule, but they are really doing an amazing job. The district's never looked cleaner. We have a couple boarded up places, only one that we're commissioning a mural for, but I think that's about it. I think I'm the only person going into the office every day besides Bob Gormley.
Not every day. Any questions for Terry? All right, thank you, Terry. Okay, we'll move to the elected officials. Luke Wolf, Comptroller's Office.
Hi, everybody. Glad to see we're all doing well. I'll keep this brief. Our office is still working around the clock and are fully functioning. So our pension team is still sending out checks to all the pensioners. We are still processing all of the city contracts and expediting all the human services and nonprofit contracts that are necessary to make sure that we can serve everyone during the pandemic. Claims are still being filed and processed. A few other things that we have launched is we have millions of dollars of unclaimed wages. So these are prevailing wages that have not ended up in workers' hands. So we have launched a campaign to make sure we can get those millions of dollars back into workers' hands. So there are thousands of New Yorkers who worked, didn't get the money, and we have it, and we're asking them to go on our website, see if their name is there, and if so, we'll send them the check for their unclaimed funds. We are also have a twice weekly business workshop series specifically focused on minority and women-owned businesses. But please let me know and reach out if there's anything else we can help with, and hope you're all doing well.
Thank you, Luke. Questions for Luke?
Luke, do you have a link to that unclaimed funds? Like, is there a program that we could promote
Yep,
that?
and I can drop that link in the chat right now.
Wait.
Okay, thank you, Luke. Manhattan BP, Andrew.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing? I just want to announce a couple events that the Borough President's Office has participated in and or will be hosting, and a couple of quick announcements. First off, I want to say that the Borough President and her and staff have been making food deliveries to niche developments in all of Manhattan on a weekly basis. And as of yesterday, boxes were delivered to neighborhoods and locations such as Taft Houses, Layham Village, Clinton, King, Carver, Jefferson, Johnson, and Washington. The borough president and some staff have made deliveries of face masks to neighbors and nonprofits and community centers. For CB2, we delivered masks to Greenwich House last week, and they're going to distribute those to their seniors and individuals who come in to seek services. We're reminding folks to continue filling out the census. I believe census completion rates are under 50% across all of New York City for each of the respective boroughs. So we continue to remind folks to fill out the census. Last night, we held a contact tracing panel in conjunction with Columbia University, the Public Advocate's Office, and Congressman Jerry Nadler. The video is available online. It was just to discuss how the city was going to implement contact tracers to monitor folks who have COVID-19 and possible symptoms. And lastly, I want to say that tomorrow at 3:30 p.m., we're going to be hosting a virtual town hall regarding social workers in public schools. The borough president has been advocating to have a social worker in each public school for some time now, and this town hall will continue that demand to make it a reality. And so if you're interested in attending that virtual town hall, you can contact me and I can send you the Zoom registration details. And I believe it's also on the website, and it's definitely on our social media. We hired a new digital social media director, by the way, and she's really active and gung-ho with Instagram. So please feel free to check it out. It's very lively and wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions for the borough president? All right, next up, Senator Brad Hoylman. Jacob?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jacob with State Senator Brad Hoylman's office. Hope everyone is doing well, staying safe and healthy. I just want to thank Leah from New York City Transit, the bids, John Leo, Leilani, Jermaine, Jen, and Alberto. They've been extremely helpful for us over the last few months as we've been dealing with this crisis. So special shout out to them. So thank you so much. We've been working 7 days a week on unemployment claims and constituent issues. The Department of Labor has not been very cooperative for unemployment claims, but we've seen some progress. So if you have any employees or know of any constituents that need help with claims, feel free to get in contact with me. And we also have access to hand sanitizer. Looking at the minutes 2 months ago feels like a completely different world. But Bob, if you know of any place that needs hand sanitizer now, we have complete access to that. So that's it for us. Thank you.
Regarding the hand sanitizer, are we talking about 1 gallon jugs or something? Or?
We have gallon jugs, and we also have little bottles to hand out. We've been handing those out to some of the larger buildings in the district.
Very good. All right. Thank you, Jacob. Any questions for Jacob? No. Okay. Next up, Ileana, Senator Kavanaugh.
Hi, everyone. My name is Eliana. I'm here representing Senator Brian Kavanaugh. I would echo what Jacob just said. We also are distributing masks and hand sanitizer around the district. And we are also working very hard, both on the ground to ensure that folks who are trying to file for unemployment have what they need, but also trying to make sure that the system gets improved over time to match the needs of the individuals who require those services right now. Also, most importantly, I would say, we introduced legislation to establish an emergency rental assistance voucher program that would help individuals who are having difficulty paying rent due to the COVID-19 crisis have coverage for that while still ensuring that landlords are getting paid. So we are pushing the federal government to cover that program, and we're hoping that that moves forward. And we're also working hard to make sure that individuals who live in public spaces and who are experiencing homelessness have all of the resources that they need during this time. So, thank you.
Thank you, Eliana. I have a question for you and kind of for Jacob as well.
Yeah.
As far as distribution of masks and sanitizer, is there a criteria or standards and who can request it or who can get it?
It's really up to each office to decide. So definitely feel free to reach out if you have a recommendation for an organization or a building or, you know, an agency that is in need.
All right, thank you. Off the top of my head, Visiting Neighbors is down the hall from me, and they're still at it. And I know that I was told by one of the local groups that they were going to be given a contribution of masks, but that fell through. So I don't know that they need it, but they might. So I'll reach out to them. If they do, I'll put them in touch with one of you guys.
Great.
Actually, I'm not sure.
Bob, I just want to say, yeah, if they want a face mask, we can definitely mail them one. Or the mayor's office, I believe, they're able to mail masks to folks who need them as well.
Great. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you all.
If there are any organizations or people that need masks, please let me know and I can personally deliver them. And that goes for any of the bids or other organizations that are on this. I will include my email in the chat. Please send me your information. We will get you masks, as many as you need, as soon as possible.
Thank you, Andrew. Charlie Anderson, Assemblymember Glick.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Charlie Anderson in Assemblymember Deborah Glick's office. Good to see everyone. I'm going to sound a little like a broken record and echo my state partners. We are also sort of working through a vast amount of unemployment claims and individuals that have reached out to our offices to try to either expedite their request or move things along. I think things are starting to improve a little bit, but you know, it is always sort of a struggle on a week-to-week basis. But that has been a large part of what, at least our office in terms of the district, what we've been working on. We are also we also, like Jacob said, have access to some hand sanitizer that we didn't in the past or that we didn't before. And so we've reached out to some folks and we'll be delivering that around as we can. It does come in gallon jugs. Next Wednesday, the Assembly member is going to be participating in a forum regarding changes that came out of the CARES Act that was passed by the federal government at the end of March 27th, I believe, in relation to student loans and student loan debt. So she's the chair of the Higher Education Committee in the State Assembly, and we'll be having a discussion along with CCS, Community Service Society, next Wednesday, the 20th. If anyone is interested or wants that, I can certainly send you the link for registration. Other than that, we've had a few conversations in the past week with various small businesses in the district, and also along with the Greenwich Village Chamber of Commerce, the Chelsea Chamber of Commerce, pardon me, the Assembly member was on, I think with also Senator Hoylman as well, on Tuesday, talking to individuals about PPP funding and applications and what the state is doing as well. So been rather busy for us, even though we are not in the office, we are working from home. If anyone calls us, we are checking messages on a rotating hourly basis. So we're able to get in touch with folks. But I think most people here have my email address, so that's the easiest way to reach out as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Questions for Charlie? All right, next, Assembly Member Yuli New. Claudia?
Hello, good morning, everyone. This is Claudia from Assembly Member Yuli News Office. A few quick updates. The Assembly member is still continuing food distributions in the district. We included a new kosher food distribution, and it's right by Grand Street area. We're hoping with that addition, we can bring some relief to the families in that area. So it's currently ongoing Monday through Friday at 504 Grand Street, starting 1 p.m. We also recently had our post-budget virtual town hall. We thank everyone who tuned in. We know it was a huge ask for a Sunday, but we were lucked out on the timing in the first round. So thank you so much for joining us. And as my colleagues have mentioned, we are still prioritizing constituent cases, primarily unemployment cases. If there are any cases within the Assembly Members District, please feel free to refer them to me. I will leave my email address in the chat box shortly. And then also, if there are any language barriers that we're looking at in terms of, especially for Chinese cases, please do send them to me, even if they're not in my district. I know not every office have a Chinese staffer, and we're just hoping that language doesn't become an issue where people can't even submit their cases. So if that's the case, please do forward it over. And we do also have a Spanish speaker in office. So we're happy to help out with some of the language barriers that we're looking at. And with that, thank you, everyone, and stay well.
Thank you, Claudia. Okay, we're getting to the home stretch now. City Council, Speaker Corey Johnson, Patrice Comerford. Patrice, you're muted.
Okay, I'm unmuted. Hi, everybody. Thank you for all the great information today. It's very helpful, and you know, we are also working remotely, but very much appreciate all the help we're getting from all the agencies. They've been so responsive, and we appreciate that. We are still working with a great group of volunteers who are helping us distribute pantry boxes all over our district. We have support from the High Line for that, and we've delivered these great boxes to West Village houses and West Beth and a lot of other buildings. We also have masks, so we've also delivered them to larger buildings, so everybody has masks. I did want to say that there was a big package of bills passed at the City Council, and this is really a small business relief package while we wait for money from the federal government that we hope will come. But in the meantime, there was a slate of bills passed yesterday aimed at providing relief to the small businesses struggling during this time. One I mentioned already, that was the sidewalk cafe fees will be waived through the 2/28/21. There was also a bill passed putting a cap on delivery fees that can be charged by Grubhub and other apps, because we've heard a lot of complaints about that from the small businesses. And also a bill that if Carlina's office is on, they'll talk about this a little. I think Corey co-sponsored this with Carlina. This would suspend the personal liability clause that's in a lot of leases for the small businesses where, you know, they can, so the owner's personal assets won't be taken from them during this time if they can't pay their rent. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is that we continue to have our clinic, our housing clinic. We have a slate of lawyers who work with that, and we do that every the second Tuesday of each month. And we'll send that to the community board, so in case they have people that they want to sign up for that. The next one will be the second Tuesday in June, whenever that is. That's it.
All right, thank you, Patrice. Any
Thanks.
questions for the Speaker's office? All right, next up, Monica from Councilmember Chin's office.
Once again, hi, everybody. So a couple of things. I'm gonna kind of echo my colleagues in the state level as well. We are working with a couple of our local, elected regarding on unemployment, because we have been getting phone calls, because they haven't gotten their funds or they're waiting to get their funds or whatever. So I know there was a couple of cases that my colleagues and I have that we weren't able to get answers to, but thanks to, Assemblymember Glick's office and Brian Kavanaugh's office, they've been a great help to us. So thank you for that. So we're gonna be calling or emailing you guys for that, in the local area. Also, we are giving out free masks. So if anybody knows any organization, like I said, echoing my colleagues, buildings or anything, please let us know. We will gladly, I've been giving it out. So I've been in my car driving, giving out masks, as well as food. We have a food pantry that we are doing out of Chinatown. And it's actually with the help of Trader Joe's, who's actually been giving us the food, and other, stores or local store that we have in the community. So we have been giving out food to those that can't come out for whatever reason, or, they don't have enough, food. So we're actually giving out, food to them. Also, we are doing calling to our seniors, because they have no family in the, home, or they can't go out. So we have been calling them to find out how they're doing, if they get any food. So we actually get them in contact by, providing food to them also, or, contacting, 311 or Commissioner Garcia, for the food, to get food. We also have opened the kosher food in Grand Street at PS 134. So also our Governor Hospital is doing free testing for COVID, the COVID-19. So if you know anyone that would like to get a free testing to see, if they have the virus or not, is on Governor Hospital. That would be to Madison Street, and they open Monday through Friday from 9 to 3. So, just putting out there, if anybody want to come, they more like, welcome to come in our area. And also I've been working with some shelters, hotels that became shelters in CB2, because I know there was a lot of issue in 1 or 2 hotels in that area that I know that Gigi had contacted Ilani for, to find out what's going on, because I know there was a couple of issues now letting them come in because they didn't have a mask, or they weren't giving masks to come in. So it's been a lot of issues regarding a shelter in that area. So hopefully, we could get the bottom to it. If they need masks, we gladly will provide them masks. But we would like to know if DHS could give us a call back and find out what's going on with this hotel that became shelters from these individuals. Besides that is all. Please stay safe, and I'm working from house into the office. I've been doing both. So anybody could just give me a call or email me with any issues. Thank you.
Hi, Monica. This is Leilani. I'm sorry, I have a quick question. So which office again reached out?
It was a couple of hotels that, residents that were there that reached out to us regarding some issue in some shelters. I know that Gigi, I believe, emailed you and Cora, but I'm not sure.
No, I didn't receive anything just yet. Maybe they plan to. I haven't received anything just yet, but there are I'm not sure, so OEM, there's a few sites that agencies are going into, commercial hotel spaces that not just DHS, but other agencies are going into. And it's just a matter of ensuring that that particular location is ours. Across our system, every single shelter provider has received PPE equipment, including staff and clients. So there's more than enough face coverings to go around for families with children and single adults. Now, each site, if you reached out to them and you asked if they need PPE, they're going to say yes, because they're not sure, what the future will hold. And so they're trying to collect as many masks as possible for the safety of staff and clients. So they are stockpiling that, and they will say yes that they need, but the agency has provided, it's been, I believe, over 1 million donations have been given to DHS as it relates to PPE equipment. And so there's more than enough there. So that's going to our street homeless population, our density reduction population, standard shelter population, isolation sites. Folks are equipped with PPE. So if there is some one-off issue, please do send me that email. I have not received anything as it relates to that from your office, but would like to look into that as soon as possible.
Yeah. Okay, definitely. I will email you myself then.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Leilani and Monica. Next up, Councilmember Rivera, Iraq Sahansky.
Hello.
Iraq?
Thank you. Yeah. So yes, thank you so much, and happy to see everyone and in their mobile or temporary offices. So quickly, like any other office has mentioned, we've been doing the same. Hand sanitizer, mask deliveries. We've been organizing a group of volunteers to proactively call the most vulnerable population in our district, senior buildings, public housing, supportive housing, and such. We continue full on working on constituent services, and we managed to coordinate pretty well with our state electeds when we receive any complaints regarding unemployment, which is a huge intake of cases. So I appreciate everyone's help on that. So yeah, yes, it was mentioned yesterday. Carolina was sponsoring a bill that passed the council to suspend temporarily personal liability for business owners if they're impacted or if their businesses are impacted by COVID-19. So the landlord cannot pursue, the personal assets and savings, just to make sure they can get back on their feet as soon as this is done, because we don't know how long it's going to continue for. Additionally, we've been working, Carolina has been every Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. on Facebook Live on her Facebook page. She's been hosting these conversations with different people. We had Dr. Katz from H&H, people from small businesses and freelancers unions, housing lawyers, therapists, and such. So if you see any of that information, please join. Sometimes we manage to get conversations going for people who are very interested in different needs, and they manage to get the resources from them. So other than that, we continue full on in constituent services. And if you reach out to our office, please bear with us as one of our staffers is on paternal leave starting last Monday. So we're struggling to get more responsibilities into each staffer. But if you reach out, just give us a day and we'll get back to you. Other than that, I have nothing else to report. Anyone has questions?
You're Rock. Any questions? Okay, thank you. Sophia Novoa, CCL for the 9th Avenue Gansevoort DDC project. Sophia? Do you need to unmute? Where are you?
I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's good, healthy. I have not much to report. The contractor is going to continue to do some touch-ups here and there for cobblestone. And basically all the work that the project is still going on is north of 14th Street, which is not part of the community board 2. However, if you have any questions or comments, I'm working from home, but the field office and the construction is still in the area. And if anybody wants to talk to me, I'm still working from home 7 to 3. You all have my email.
All right, thanks, Sophia. Any questions? Thank you. Miriam Benjamin, the CCL for the, I guess, the West 3rd Street project?
Yes, yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm happy to see that everyone is well and hopefully safe and healthy. Well, for safety precautions due to the pandemic, DDC had paused the water main replacement on West 3rd Street since March 16 until further notice. So we are still not able to do water main work and water shutdowns. However, our contractor will be going back to the area today as of this afternoon. I want to say for approximately 2 weeks to do permanent trench restoration. So they're going to be doing some woodway work where we already placed the new water main pipe on LaGuardia between West 3rd and Washington Square South, and on West 3rd itself between LaGuardia Place up to Sullivan Street. I know they're starting to do that today. That would not entail water shutdown. It would just be parking restrictions and the noise and stuff like that. 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. I spoke to the resident engineer and the contractor earlier this morning. I know the contractor would like to do some water main work. So we are in the process of surveying the area, the NYU buildings to see what's open and what's not open and all the other businesses to see how conducive it would be for us to do water shutdown right now. Once I have that information and the decision is made, I will communicate that to your office and to everybody else. But for now, we will just be doing restoration work. Like Sophia, I am working from home 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. So I'm available via email or on my cell phone, but the field office is open. So if there's any issues, we will always be able to handle that.
Thank you, Miriam. I would just say that if it can be done, well, you want to wait to hear what NYU says, but most of those buildings are closed, and most of the businesses on West 3rd, not all, but most of them are also closed. And of course, there are people who live on West 3rd Street as well. So as far as water shutoffs, and again, if the water main replacement work can be done safely, in a way, this is almost an ideal time to get the work done because it'd have a minimal impact on the businesses there. But
that's what we're thinking. Now on West 3rd itself, we probably done with most of it. We did from LaGuardia up to mid-block between Sullivan and McDougal. So we only have half a block on West 3rd itself to do, but we also have to do McDougal from Washington Square South. Originally, it was gonna be up to West 3rd, but now they extended it up to Mineta Lane. And I believe there are a couple of residential buildings in that area. So I don't know how that would, our shutdowns would impact those residents if they are home now.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. All right, we'll see what happens. And you're right. It's for the on the one hand, it's a good time to do it because the businesses are closed, but everyone's at home now, so that would be a more difficult time. Maybe it's not a fair balance. Anyway, any questions for Miriam? All right, that's the end of the list, but I'm sure I must have missed some folks. Is there anyone who has not given a report who would like to give a report? Speak, just jump right in. Unmute yourself. Josh, I don't see anyone. All right. Okay, thanks everyone. We got through it. Sigh of relief from my end. Thank you for your reports. Be safe. I'm sure I'll be in touch with a lot of you between now and next month when we have our next District Service Cabinet meeting. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Great job, Bob. Have a good one.
Bye.
We miss your donuts.
Yeah, your coffee and your donuts, man.
Okay.
Be safe.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Quinn, get out of here.
I'm trying. I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. And then there were 4.
Want to kick him off?
I've never stayed on until the end before, so I don't even know. Corey must have stepped out. I don't know who. 718 something 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 7273.
I'll remove them all. There we go.
All right. Okay.
And then there were 2.
Not too bad. Good
Yeah,
job.
that went well.
Very good job. Yeah. It was and most of the people stayed on for the whole thing. You know, it's.
No, I
we had a
figured
high-
people would just leave as soon as they were done with the reports, but.
Yeah, I think the high we had was 737, and by the end, I think we were down to about 33. So that's
what I
nice.
saw.
And one person, Miriam, sent me a chat. Sent me a chat saying she had to go to another call. Do we have like a recording or whatever of all the chat stuff?
Yeah, you can save it. That's what I'm doing right.
Let's save that because I wasn't keeping up with that, but I'm sure there was a
No,
lot.
there's a lot of information in there.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I got that saved. Now I gotta wait. Now I gotta stop this recording. All right, this is what it says.